You got the questions, I've got the answers. Let's do this. At least I hope I've got the answers. Hey everybody, I'm of course the Invertebrarian. Thank you for joining us here today on the channel. Now across my social media platforms, put some kind of special effect in there, I've offered you the opportunity to ask me some questions, and in this video we will answer the questions that you guys have set for me. So without further ado, let's just absolutely crack on with answering your questions. Fantasy Gecko over on Instagram asked, how old was I when I got my first speciality pet, or exotic pet? Growing up, my parents allowed us to pretty much have any pet we wanted apart from rats and spiders. They were the two kind of no-nos that my mum wasn't keen on. We had lizards, geckos, that kind of thing, but my first exotic pet was left to me to look after from my oldest brother. He was going to university and couldn't take his garter snake with him, so he left his garter snake for me to look after. So that was my first experience of keeping exotic pets, which was a garter snake that I named Plague. Pet Rock and Roll asks, what was my favourite childhood memory? So growing up, when we were kids, we used to play with the kids that came to visit their granddad across the road, and we would all explore. I grew up in a village in the back end of Beyond, and across the road from my parents' house there was a lane, and up the lane there was a path, and up the path there was a hill, took you up the hill, and up the hill was what us kids all called the quarry. Now, on one occasion we all went off exploring. My brother had a tumbler machine for stones, and we used to go looking for agate and quartz and all that kind of stuff. So one particular summer's day, me and the boy from across the road, my friend, we went off up the hill and we found this absolutely amazing rock, and I hammered it out and I chipped it open and found this beautiful piece. I've kept my part to this day, so I'll have it. Hopefully my friend still has his part that I gave to him, but anyway, rather dusty, but here it is. I've had this since I was probably about maybe 11 years old. I found this in a rock, and he has a cap that goes over the top here. That's where we broke it open, and he took that part, and this is my part. So yeah, that is a memory that I will forever remember, and have the cool awesome nugget as a reminder of that beautiful day searching for precious stones. Next easy question, what got me into the hobby? So I've grouped this question with the other questions about growing up, childhood, that kind of thing. What got me into the hobby was I've always had a really strong passion and interest towards spiders and arachnids growing up, and as I mentioned in the first question, it was one thing I was never allowed to keep. So because it was this sort of banned object within the household, it was one of the things I most wanted, that and rats. When I first moved out of home, I got myself pet rats, and later on, when circumstances allowed me to, I got my first ever tarantula. But wanting to keep spiders as pets dates back for as long as I can possibly remember. God, that's a long time. Diane has asked, on behalf of her daughter, I believe, possibly herself, do spiders fart? And it's a double-barrel question, can I juggle? So yes, apparently spiders can fart due to the enzymes within the abdomen causing most likely the leakage of gas. Can I juggle? Lee and Shropshire Exotics have very, very similar questions. Shropshire Exotics asks how I would like to see the hobby in the years to come, and Lee asks what changes would I like to see in the hobby. I have a fluffy dog next to me. Fluffy dog. Ooh. We'll answer both those questions in one fell swoop for you. What we'd like to see would be tighter control and restrictions on the illegal importation of animals and an end to brown boxing. I'd like to see, as GAR is often, Arachnotube is often promoted as legal and sustainable. So lots of breeding projects, and they do happen, lots of breeding projects going on within the country, sold through reputable suppliers, and hopefully put an end to people brown boxing goods into the country. There are a lot of species being bred, but instead of paying the shop prices, some people would rather illegally smuggle them into the country. So to see that put a stop to would be absolutely fantastic. So legal and sustainability, Arachnotube, yep. And I suppose another thing I would like to see is variety within the hobby. There's a lot of tarantula species available, but in terms of sort of true spiders and other arachnids, it's slightly more limited. So, as a fan of sort of true spiders, I would like to see a bigger variety of them in stores. The spare room would like to know what is my proudest achievement within the hobby. Proud achievements are a few I could quite happily mention, but being part of a community and being behind some of the ideas to surprise other people within the community is absolutely brilliant for me. Making somebody's day, doing something good for somebody else that isn't for me, having people come together to do something good for somebody else is just absolutely incredible. It just shows what can be achieved if people come together and work together for the good of somebody else. So that to me is just absolutely incredible and amazing, and it makes me so proud to be part of these little mini projects that take place. Another moment that stands out for me was being, to the best of my knowledge, the first person to catch Dinopus egg sac hatching and upload it to YouTube, and was used by Zafrank in his Dinopus video. So what more can I say? Awesome. Toby, Mr. Exotic Toby asks us, why do we have 10 cats? Long story short, most of them are rescue cats. A couple of them we ended up having as a result of not getting the females neutered quick enough due to other circumstances going on within our lives. At the time they were booked in to be done, but they didn't get done because other things happened. Long story short, they are predominantly most of rescues from households where they were being neglected, mistreated, or were unwanted. So that's why. That is why indeed. And it's not really me, it's the crazy cat woman that I married. But Phil asks if there's anything at all I could keep, was able to get, what would it be, and what lighting do I use? So Phil, first and foremost, thank you for all your support you always offer me. To answer your questions, lighting is this thing here. I can see you. Back at there. In terms of close-ups lighting, that's the lighting. I use my phone, which is Samsung Galaxy S20 Pro or something. I use this little micro lens doohickey thing, but I also still use my Hui for filming as well. So I kind of use a compilation of them all. I'm out of focus. Scott asked, what is my playlist? What do I listen to while I'm feeding the collection? My tunage of choice when feeding is normally a Green Day, anything up to American Idiot, anything after that I'm not too keen on. Red Hot Chili Peppers, System of a Down, maybe a bit of Tim Minchin if I'm in the mood for it. And that's, you know, other than the odd track here and there of various artists, that's usually my go-to playlist. Dan asked this question. I can't remember what it is, it was so long, but I recall I had Aqua in it, because he is my Barbie girl. The only bit I think there actually needs an answer is what is the sum of a feather, and I'm going to say if you type 3.14 into a calculator and look in the mirror, it looks like pi, and it is of course pi, so I'm going to say the answer to the feather would be all of the above. And what is the best song by Aqua? I'm going to say Barbie Girl, because everybody loves a bit of Barbie Girl, don't they? And then the big old dingbat bombarded me with all of these. So let's work our way through them. Quest, level up. Favourite colour, technically not a colour, but black. Capital of Assyria, A. Hopefully I'll score some points there. What is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? Well, we all know that a swallow has to beat its wings at 43 beats per second. But then it depends if it's an African or European swallow, really, doesn't it? I couldn't find coconuts. And now we have a triple, wee hat trick there from David. So let's crack on and answer his fantabulous questions. Game series wise, I would probably have to go with Gears of War. It's the one that I've played all games of. I would have possibly gone with the Assassin's Creeds, but there was a blip in the middle that I just didn't really enjoy. So I'm going to go with Gears of War because it's the one that I've absolutely played every single game on. So thus far, probably the best game series I've come across. A band I'd eradicate from history, I was originally thinking like Moby or Coldplay or possibly even U2. I'm not a huge fan. But I want to say top loader because I am sick and tired of dancing in the moonlight coming out every year. It seems to just reappear and it gets on my wick. No offence to them, but that song just drives me nuts. If I could have a conversation with anyone, past, present, and what would that conversation be about? This is a really, really difficult question to answer. I've kind of been racking my brains on this, so it's actually a very good question. I would absolutely love to meet Bruce Lee and speak to him about his philosophies on martial arts. And Stephen Fry, Stephen Hawkins, I think would be very interesting men to sit and have a conversation with. But I think ultimately it's going to have to be Sir David Attenborough, and just speak about life on Earth and his experiences of life on Earth and the things he's seen over his years of documentary making. His documentary on gorillas was one of the first documentaries I remember watching as a young child, with him sitting there with these young gorillas climbing all about him and stuff. And it sparked an absolute passion in me for gorillas, especially. It's a species of animals that I absolutely love. So to have the opportunity to sit and have a conversation with Sir David Attenborough would just be absolutely mind-blowing and a real honour. Now back over to Pet Rock and Roll for some gibberish about oranges. Well, the fruit actually came before the colour, so I'm guessing an orange is an orange because of an orange. I wonder if that's the same for a plum. Tanya asks, would I prefer to freeze time or have a time machine? And also asks, what one dish would I live on forevermore, given a choice? Or not given a choice, if I could only choose one dish. Simples, wouldn't want a time machine, wouldn't want to go back and change anything in the past, because it wouldn't be me as much as events have been horrendous. And I wouldn't want to know what's ahead of me, because I would just spend the rest of the time worrying about it. So I would want to stop time, mess around with people, just randomly move objects, freeze a bit of time. As long as I'm not frozen, I assume I'm not frozen, I'm just freezing time. Yeah, I think freezing time would be pretty awesome and pretty fun. One food I would live off forevermore would probably be Ziki bean burgers. They are absolutely spanking fantastic, and if you don't know what they are, head off to Google and Google Ziki bean burgers. They're a vegan, meat-free burger, and they are just, because obviously you can have loads of different toppings and stuff on a burger. So yeah, they're just brilliant, superbulous, fantastic, awesome, lovely. Our penultimate question comes from the marvellous That Pet page asking, will I bring out an album? Technically there is kind of one. It's the Best of My Worst of Volume 1. There's never been a Volume 2. But should anybody wish to download it or get the audio and pop it on a CD or whatever, by all means, knock yourselves out. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I just don't think there'll be a huge market for it. But I do enjoy writing a wee diddly and having fun with it. So yeah, I would do it. I would do it. Have I got plans to do it? No, I don't. Our last and final question comes from our dearly beloved Little and Scanner, who seems to have a bit of a problem with dust. So prior to the abandonment of any building or structure, there would have been dust in the air, and with the lack of any movements or presence within said building or structure, the dust would begin to settle. Then over time, more dust would build up on that, caused by any number of things such as insects, other animals passing through, particles in the air. There's always an element of wind. Not to mention the general deterioration of the building and the structure itself, any fabrics within the building, any materials left behind, breaking down over time will create more and more dust. Sadly, no matter what, there is no escaping the dust. Sorry, dude. Facts is just facts, isn't it? And that brings us to an end of our provocative poking at my preferences. And that is that, people. Thank you ever so much to everybody who has sent questions. Sincere apologies if I missed any. I'm pretty sure I've answered everybody's questions that were sent to me. If I have missed anything, pop them down below, and I shall do my best to answer them in the old dibby-dabby texty format. But yes, thank you ever so much. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am available on a myriad and variety of social media platforms, so please do pop us a like, a share, a subscribe or whatever on any of them, and keep in touch. Drop me messages, have a chat, ask questions, see what garbage I post. But that's it for me. Thank you to all of you. Please do check out any channels that were mentioned throughout the making of this video, and do of course subscribe and show support to all of them. Thank you ever so much to all of you guys. Let me know what you thought of this video. Did you enjoy it? Did you find it interesting? Did you learn things that perhaps you didn't know about me beforehand? And it was good to get a different insight into the person that I am. And thank you ever so much. We will see you in the next one. Be good, be kind, take care of yourselves, and do of course smash the old like, hit the bell and all that jazz. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me out. And for every one of you that subscribes to my channel, a particle of dust shall disintegrate into nothingness and help our poor Skana, who clearly doesn't like dust.